Hello viewers, welcome again to my YouTube channel Inside Geography with Saad Rahoojo. As you know, we have been discussing the agriculture system of Pakistan. So this is the second part of that lecture because agriculture system is itself a very big topic. So I thought that I should, bifurcate this topic into two or three segments. So this is the second part where today we will be discussing the agro-ecological zones of Pakistan. In our previous lecture, we discussed the agriculture background of Pakistan, agriculture's performance means crops performance and its contribution to the economy. We also discussed the cropping patterns of Pakistan, which type of crops are being in what combination is being produced in Pakistan. So today we'll discuss the agro-ecological zones of Pakistan. As you know, Pakistan is not a big country in terms of size, but it's not a very small country. So it has a moderate land area, but still we have a different agro-ecological zones. So agro-ecological zones basically has been generated by looking at the different components. So means your agriculture land, ecology, climatic conditions, soil condition. Because although as I told you, Pakistan is not a big country, but still because of diversification in physiography, because of different landscapes, and at the same time the different climatic conditions. So that's why it has a different agro-ecological zones. In agro-ecological zones, different crops are being produced in different parts of Pakistan. So in this lecture, we'll see those different parts of Pakistan or the regions where different the crops are being produced. So let's go to the details. So Pakistan, as you know, it has a diverse lands and climatic characteristics. So in the north there is a high mountainous intersect with the valleys. In the south there is a Pothwar Plateau followed by fertile Indus Plain, which is 1,287 kilometer long and 322 kilometer wide. So Pakistan, if you look at the physiography, I had also separate lecture on that physiography of Pakistan. So in the north we have northwest mountainous ranges. In the middle part of Pakistan mostly is based on the plainer or flat areas. In the south we have an Arabian Sea and also deltic portion. In the west of Pakistan we have a Baluchistan Plateau, and the upper part we have a KPK, which is based on the mountains also. In the eastern part of Pakistan we have a arid lands, or you can say the desert area. So if you look at the Pakistan, even though we have a different climatic characters or conditions, so if you just discuss the plain area, fertile land of Pakistan, it is 1,287 kilometer long and 322 kilometer wide. So 1287 kilometer ये long है और 322 kilometers of height with a 1.0% gradient from the north to south. What does it mean? So if you are coming from the north toward the south, you will see the Pakistan has a slope. तो वो नीचे होता जाएगा, यानी कि इट इज अ स्लोपिंग ग्रेडियंट. सो वो पाकिस्तान का ग्लोब, यानी कि इनकी जो हाइट है वो कम होती जाएगी. So 1% it will be reduced or being lessened. So the western part mainly comprise Baluchistan Plateau bordered by high to low mountains on the northwest. There are two sandy deserts in the Indus Plain, the Thal desert in the upper part and the Thar desert in Pakistan. So basically there are four deserts in Pakistan. One is the Rann desert, which is in the Baluchistan. Other three, which are the sandy deserts, especially which are based on the sand, they are in the eastern part of Pakistan, Thar and Cholistan. Two are in Punjab, one it is in the Sindh, and one in the Baluchistan. So marshy areas occur in the Rann of Kutch, which is based on the marshy areas along the southernmost border of the country. So this is the physiographic, I'll say, explanation of Pakistan. Now we are coming to the agro-ecological zones of Pakistan. So Pakistan's agro-ecological zones regions are classified on the basis of physiographic and climatic characters. soil type and agriculture load. I told you before. So if you combine these together, it will make a particular type of agro-ecological zone. So there are mainly 10 agro-ecological zones in Pakistan. But sometime if you read any books, sometime in different books we have a 12 agro-ecological zones, and sometime you might find the 10 ecological. So I opt 10 agro-ecological zones of Pakistan. So what are those 10 agro-ecological zones? Indus Delta, southern irrigated plains, sandy deserts, northern irrigated plains, Barani or rainfall areas, wet mountains, northern dry mountains, western dry mountains, dry western plateau, and the Sulaiman Piedmont. So you can see here, these are the different ecological regions of Pakistan. Sometimes the agro-ecological regions also are being classified on the basis of aridity. So we will start from the Indus Delta. So we'll go one by one. What we'll see in these different agro-ecological zones, we'll see their physiographic characteristics and what are the places or regions are being coming in those regions. We also see the soil type. यानी कि हम इसमें क्या देखेंगे, उन regions की physiography देखेंगे, उनका climate देखेंगे, और कौन से part उसमें, यानी कि कौन कौन से इलाके उसमें आ जाते थे, फिर उनकी हम soil condition देखेंगे. The same time we also see which crops are being produced. So in this zone comprise, the Indus Delta comprise of Thatta district and parts of Badin and Hyderabad districts. So some parts of Hyderabad, Badin and Thatta district, they are based on, this is called the Indus Delta. In terms of physiographic climatic characters represented in the Indus Delta, climate is arid tropical marine, mean daily maximum summer temperature range from 30 to 40 centigrade. So average temperature is 30 to 40 centigrade, and winter temperature is 19 to 20 centigrade. So it is different in the winter and the summer. So you can easily see the average temperature here. While in terms of monthly rainfall, average monthly rainfall, we have 75 millimeter and in the summer, and while 5 millimeter in the winter. So relative humidity 67 to 86% in the morning and 30 to 35% in the afternoon. So this is the climatic and physiographic condition. Soil type, I will try to have another lecture on the soil and its type and characters and composition. You may not understand here. I'm not going to define the different types of soil. I'll just mention the names of those soils. So there are two types of soil: clay and silty soil. Clay soil find shallow basin, and silty soil nearly level flat. So wherever the water area, they are so close to those water area, they are being called clay soil, while the rest of soil is found in the flatter area. So what are the crops which are will produce here? The main kharif crops include rice, sugarcane, cotton, whereas major crops or rabi are wheat. However, other crops like millet, maize, barley, rape, and mustard, gram, fodder, pulses, and vegetables crops are also being common. So you see almost all crops are being produced here, depending on the seasons here. The southern irrigated plains of Pakistan, southern irrigated plains. So the southern part of Pakistan, but those are being based, are being produced, are being relying on the irrigated water. What are those? These zone includes lower Indus Plain, covering Indus districts of Dadu, Larkana, Jacobabad, Sakhar, Sibbi, Shikarpur, Badin, Tharpaka, Sangar, Khairpur, Nawabshah, and parts of Hyderabad and Rahim Yar Khan. So these are the southern part of Pakistan, the upper Indus and the lower Indus or southern part of Pakistan, where we have a different districts, Dadu, Ladkan, almost most of the Sindh comes here, or in some parts of Rahim Yar Khan. Physiographic or climatic characters depend on the lower Indus Plain formed by meandering of Indus water. So this zone is formed, been produced by the sediments laid down by the Indus River. So this zone is called the lower Indus Plain of Pakistan. In terms of climate, we have an arid subtropical continent with the hot summer and mild winter. The summers are very hot, while the winters are very mild. So mean daily temperature is 40 to 45 in summer and 8 to 5 centigrade in the northern areas of Pakistan. Mean monthly summer rainfall 18 millimeter in the north, while 44 to 55 millimeter in the south. Winter, particularly in the dry. So winter is particularly are dry, and the summers are wet. Soil, we have a silty and sandy soil, loam associated with the active floodplains. Because this soil contains looms, it is because the water is full with those sediments when it's time of floods. So upper areas of floodplain is calcareous, loomy, and clay soil. So loomy soil is always better soil for the crops. The crop which are being grown here, they are cotton, wheat, mustard, sugarcane, berseem on the left bank of Indus, rice, wheat, gram, and berseem on the right bank. So sorghum is the main crop of southern drought. So almost you can see here these crops are being produced here. So wheat and the cotton and the rice, they are the dominant crops are produced in different seasons. So now we are coming to the sandy deserts. Sandy desert, the third agroecological zone of Pakistan. This zone comprises Bahawalpur, Tharparkar, partially, Khairpur, Nawab Shah, Sangar, Rahim Yar Khan, and Bahawalnagar district. So the eastern part of Pakistan where we have a desert area, like we have a desert in district Khairpur, Nawab Shah. So these are comes of Rahim Yar Sangar. And if you are in Punjab, we have a Bahawalpur, Rahim Yar Khan, and the Sargodha district, Mianwali and Muzaffargarh districts of. So these are based on the sandy deserts, physiographic and climatic characteristics. Sandy deserts with xerophytic vegetation, central part occupied by salt lakes, and southern part rainfall 300 millimeter. Because this soil based on the sands, it's a sandy desert or arid land where we have a less rainfall and high evaporation. So most of the vegetation is xerophytic vegetation. Xerophyte means those plants which survive for the longer periods in those in the high temperature and high evaporation, they are being found here. So area covered with various farms, sand ridges, and dunes, sand sheets. So this area is based on or comprised on the sand dunes and sand ridges because of the high evaporation. So and very scant trees or the rainfalls. Oh, sorry, the vegetation. So northern part rainfall 300 to 350 millimeters. So the northern part of sandy deserts gets 300 to 355 milliliters. So the crops which are being produced here, they are the millets, wheat, rape, and mustard seeds, fodder, whereas so you don't see the bigger crops like because rice, which requires water, and this area is being absence of the water, so it requires more water. So that's why the wheat, millets, and mustard. So most of the fodder, I'll say fodder crops are being produced here. So we have a sugarcane and also remaining miles, sorghum, rice. They are being in the Kharif, they are being also being grown here, but they are not in a bigger scale. They are being produced small scale here. So now we have a northern irrigated plains. This zone comprises Multan, Vihadi, Saiwal, Lahore, Kusur, Faisalabad, Shekhupura, Gujranwala, parts of Bahawalnagar, Rahim Yar Khan, Muzaffargarh, Sargodha, Gujarat district. So this is the upper part of upper Indus Plain of Pakistan, which is being where the agricultures are being produced, are being grown, are being stabilized with the help of irrigated water. So physiographic and climatic character area between Satluj and Jhelum river, different floodplains and bar upland. Climate is semi-arid to arid, is the most part of Pakistan is the same. Subtropical continental, maximum summer rain in the summer, while minimum in the winter. So this is the mostly based in the area which are between the Satluj and the Jhelum river, which are also being called the tributaries of Pakistan, different rivers. So you can see here the rainfall condition here. Because the alluvial valleys of Peshawar and Mardan plains climate semi-arid subtropical continents. So this is also, we'll see the what type of the crops are produced here. So This is based on the canal irrigated agriculture, because agriculture is being based on the irrigation water. Irrigated irrigation water means based on the canals, where we have a network of canals. So wheat, rice, sugarcane, oilseed, and miles in the north, and the wheat, cotton, sugarcane, maize, as well as citrus and mangoes in the central and southern parts of Pakistan. So if you take the whole area, this is also been a main area of food production of Pakistan, where different variety of food is produced here. But almost all the crops are been produced, and all major crops like wheat, cotton, sugarcane, maize. So this is also key. Like this is upper Indus, and the lower Indus comes in the Sindh. So the Barani areas are those areas which are directly dependent on the rainfall, where the rainfall, help in producing the crops. So what are those areas? They are Dai Khan, Bannu, Mianwali, Abbottabad, Rawalpindi, Gujarat, Gujranwala, Attak, Jhelum, and Sialkot. They are included in this zone. So not of the whole part of these districts, but there are some patches are smaller parts. Some parts of these are being called the Barani areas. You can see even you can, if you look at these areas, they comes in the north of Pakistan, where there the humid conditions prevail, or you can say there are more rainfall. तो जहाँ पे बरसातें ज़्यादा होती हैं. In terms of physiographic characters, covers the salt ranges, Pothwar Plateau. So Pothwar Plateau and salt ranges, they are being found here. So if you know about the physiography of Pakistan, these are also the main physiographic regions of Pakistan. So salt ranges, Pothwar Plateau, they are the part of this region, and Himalayan Piedmont mountain plains. So these areas at the foothills, at the foot of the Himalayas. So where the Himalayas mountains ranges finishing, so these areas, these regions are at the foot. जहाँ पे वो खत्म होते हैं वहाँ पे ये बारानी areas पाए जाते हैं. We will see what are the what I say the productions in terms of agri. So these are the rain-fed agricultures. The major kharif crops are rice, sorghum, miles, maize, pulses, groundnuts, and sugar canes. Whereas the main rabi crops are wheat, gram, rapeseed, and mustard. So almost all the the crops are being produced here, but but depend on the water, rainwater. So because these are the rainwater, this is the plus point, where we have a more rainwater, we can still produce the different crops. Now we are coming some wet mountains area. So we go further up to this zone includes Mansehra district and part of Rawalpindi and Hazara district. So if you go further in the north of Pakistan, Mansehra, Rawalpindi, and Hazara district. So in terms of physiography, these covers high mountains inverted by wide and narrow, because they are based on the mountainous areas. So eastern part is the humid with mild summers and cold winter, mean annual temperature. So if you compare the southern parts of Pakistan, they have a mild summers and the severe winters, because of physiography and the altitude. They are at the height, at the altitude, so based on the mountain. So you can see the difference of also the difference in the average temperature, and also the rainfall here. So soil is silt, loamy, silt clay, non-calcareous to slightly calcareous. Organic matter is 1% in cultivated fields and 2.4% in the forest areas of Pakistan. So only 25% of area under rain-fed agriculture. So Pakistan may only 25% of area under rain-fed agriculture. The rest under the forest. Main crops are maize, wheat, rice grown in small areas, irrigated from spring and the streams. Because of so if you don't have a water, so you get the water through the spring and the streams. But the main crops are the maize and the wheat. We have also some fruits here, which mainly apples, an area at more than 500 meter altitude. So if you look at the height of these zones or this area, it's 500 meter. olives grown in low hills on 500 to 5,000 milli altitude. Conifer forest, scrub vegetation also 5,000. They are also 5,000 permanent snow. So we also find the conifer forest here, some scrub vegetation. कहीं कहीं पे आपको vegetation मिलेगी, scrub vegetation, and you also find the snowfall here. So northern dry mountain, those were the wet mountains. We have a more rainfall and the snowfall. Now we comes to northern dry mountain, dry especially. So this zone comprise Chitral, Drir, Sawat, tribal areas of Peshawar and Kohad, and some of the agencies, Kuram agencies, and these are different agencies are there. So Chitral, Dir, Sawat, and some tribal areas and the agencies they are being found here. So in terms of physiography and climatic characteristics, so includes Gilgit, Baltistan, Chitral, Dir valleys irrigated by glacier streams. So once glaciers start to melt, they give water or they feed to the streams, and these streams give water to these areas. So climate is undifferentiated. Tops of high mountains covered with snow. Why we say dry? Because they are being covered with the snow. And greater part of year mild summer and the cold winter. So sometime if say that which are the dry areas of Pakistan, or sorry, dry areas of the world. So when you learn about the glaciers of the world, sometimes glacier has been called the dry glacier. So where there's no rainfalls, only snow. So what does it say? The climate is undifferentiated, tops of high mountains covered with the snow, greater part of year mild summers and cold winters. Summers are mild and winters are severe, very cold, where sometime you say in a winter the temperature goes so low in a minus. So mean monthly rainfall is 25 to 75 millimeter winter and 10 to 20 millimeters summer. So if you look at the percentage of rainfall here, it's very it's been reduced or been low is compared to the foothills of the Himalayan mountain, where we had a more rainfall. Soil in valleys is deep, and valleys and mountain slopes are shallow and non. So most areas used for grazing and part of underscrub forest, because uh, the soil is covered with the snow. That's why you can't do the agriculture there, or you go for any sort of farming. So mostly this zone is spared for the grazing, means people keep the domesticated animals. And so this area, once we have a summer or sometime this area has been clear from the snow, so it provides the grazing for the animals. So wheat and the maize grow rainfall valleys and lower mountain slope, and rice irrigated in local areas, fruit grown in the flanks. So we don't have a much area or the land area under the cultivation here, but still we have some patches where we have a wheat and maize has been grown, which mostly has been on the rainfall in the valleys. And we also lower mountain slope on which irrigated water is being, so through which we also grow the rice there. Western dry mountains, the district of Kohat, Zob, Loralai, Kalar, Sibbi, Kota, part of Karachi, Banu, and the tribal area and agency. So these are our western dry mountains. There's small dry mountains are being found in the Karachi and part of Quetta, but mostly the district of Kohat, Zob, Loralai, and Kalat. So they are being in the. So these are the western part, mostly the Baluchistan, which is Baluchistan province. So that mountainous network, mountainous range reach to the south of Pakistan, which is called the Karachi. So these areas are being called the western dry mountain, where we have a lake of the rainfall. So in terms of physiography and climatic characteristic, they are being composed of barren hills. The hills are being barren, they are being naked. So they are being not covered with vegetation because of the lake of the rainfall. So 1,000 to 3,000 meter with steep slope. So we have these barren hills where there's a slope from 1,000 to 3,000 steep. So there are sudden slope, a steep slope in those hills. So climate is undifferentiated. Greater part is semi-arid highlands with mild summers and cold winters because of they have a dry climate there. That's why the summers are mild and the winters are the cold ones. So southern areas mean daily temperature is 30 to 39 centigrade millimeter, and in the winter we have minus. So in winter we have a minus centigrade temperature in this. But if you come, so monthly we have a 30 to 35 millimeter rainfall there. Extreme northwestern areas, subhumid mean temperature. We'll see which type of crops are being grown here. So soil and valleys are loamy soil. Deep, strong calcareous mountains have shallow soil. Major land is used for grazing, same grazing. तो ये चारा हो गया, fodder हो गया for the animals. तो वहाँ पे वो ज़्यादा लोग animals रखते हैं क्योंकि वहाँ पे agriculture नहीं होता, dry area है और ना ही irrigation वहाँ पे पहुँचती है, irrigated water भी नहीं है, तो लोग क्या करते हैं वहाँ पे this land is being किसके लिए है for the grazing. So they have left this land for the grazing, and part of loamy soil grown to wheat with the food flood water, very small portion irrigated and fruits. Irrigated water is almost difficult there because of the height, altitude there, क्योंकि बलूचिस्तान के इलाके ऊपर हैं और irrigated जो system है पाकिस्तान का वो नीचे है. That's why we don't have a irrigated water there. But a small portion, small patches, like the wheat and other crops are being grown, but from the flood water. Once we have a flood water, those canals are overflooded, or the water which are being, what I say, accumulated at the top of mountains and then come down to the foothill at the foot of those mountains. So they go for the agriculture. Mostly this portion is based on the fruits. So what are those fruits? We have apples, we have peaches, we have plums, we have apricots, we have grapes, and wheat and maize are also being grown. So this agroecology zone is based on the fruits. You can sometimes say this is the fruit market of Pakistan, where most of the dry and the fruit, other fruits are coming from this part. Number 9 is a dry western plateau. The district of Karachi, Makran, Karhan, Chagi, Lasbela. So if you come further towards the south of Pakistan, so we have these districts, Makran, Kharan, Chagi, Lasbela, Kohistan, and some part of Dadu district. They are coming in the dry western plateau. So we'll see what the physiographic condition they have. The mountains area, they are based on the mountains with intermountain basins. So at the middle, they have a small flatter patches in the middle of the mountains, and the plateaus steep and rugged with a narrow valley between. So most of the mountains, they have valleys between these mountains. So people grow or produce some sort of agriculture there. So climate is arid. There's similar like the arid desert climate we had in the eastern part of Pakistan. The tropical mean daily maximum in summer and minimum. So in the summer we have a 40 centigrade, and in the winter we have a 3.6 centigrades. In the north we have a what is it? 33 to 34 centigrade and 11 to 15 centigrade respectively. So this is the winter, 33 to 11, and we have a minimum and maximum respectively along with the coastal areas, because this area not only based on the rock topography, based on the mountain, but if you go towards the south of Pakistan, we have a coastal area. So in coastal areas, we have a different climate. It's been varying, and if you are going further towards the north, we have a different climate. So the coastal belts receive sea breeze. So the breeze or the winds which are coming from the coastal area, from the water bodies, they also have an impact on these areas. So in terms of Lower Indus lower regions have a xerophytic vegetation and grasses, and higher latitudes have a juniper forest and wild olives. So the similar, like if you compare this western dry parts of Pakistan with the eastern deserts, almost they have a similar vegetation based on xerophytic. Xerophytic वो plants होते हैं या vegetation होती है which have a capacity to survive for the longer periods once we don't have the water. तो वो ज़्यादातर वहाँ पे survive कर पाते हैं for the longer periods because uh, even we have a high evaporation there. So there are smaller patches in higher latitudes, altitude, जहाँ पे ज़्यादा height है या mountains हैं, तो वहाँ पे वहाँ पे juniper forest है और wild olives हैं, उनके दरख्त हैं. So land use mainly grazing, melons, sorghum, quite extensive fruits, vegetables, wheat grown where spring or crease water is available. So where we have a crease system, in irrigation system we have a three components. One is the, I also tried to have another lecture video on irrigation system Pakistan. In irrigation we have a three. One is the canals network, and is the tube wells, and number third is the crease. In crease system, what happens? The water is being accumulated or being fall at the top of the mountains. Then slowly and gradually it comes down through some patches, some spaces, the mountains, and they reach at the foot of those mountains. तो जहाँ पे वो पानी आके पहुँचता है नीचे, तो वहाँ पे लोग कुछ न कुछ वहाँ पे एक ऐसा मैकेनिज्म बनाते हैं कि उस पानी को जमा करते हैं, फिर उस accumulated वाटर को, जमा पानी को आगे पहुंचाते हैं थ्रू डिफरेंट वे. कभी वो जानवरों को यूज करते हैं, कभी मोटर्स को यूज करते हैं, और छोटे छोटे कैनाल्स बना के फिर उसके थ्रू वो काश्तकारी वहां पे करते हैं. नंबर 10 is the Sulaiman Mountains. So we are going further towards the north of Pakistan in the west part. So this zone comprises district of Dai Khan, DG Khan, Dadar, and Baluchistan of Kutch district. So these are the Dai Khan, DG Khan, Sulaiman Mountain. In terms of physiography, they are comprised peat mountain plains where soil is, mostly comes from the hard material, क्योंकि वहाँ पे माउंटेन्स पाए जाते हैं, तो माउंटेन्स जब वेदरिंग होती है तो वो बड़े बड़े जो पत्थर होते हैं, दे स्टार्ट टू वेदर, वो क्रश होना शुरू करते हैं, ब्रेक डाउन उसके होते हैं, तो छोटे छोटे जड़ों में होते थे. तो मोस्टली स्पीड माउंटेन सॉइल वो होता है जो ज्यादातर माउंटेन्स के पैरों में पाया जाता है. So Suleiman Range, alluvial fan built by the stream, so they are being built. Climate is arid and hot. Subtropical continental, mean daily maximum in summer we have a 40 to 43 centigrade, and minimum we have a winter temperature 5 to 7 centigrade. Monthly rainfall is 30 millimeter in the summer, so mostly rainfall in the summer. So the torrent water cultivated in the mainland use, and wheat, miles, and some gram and rice crops are being found. So when we have more rainfall, mostly, so we go for the crop production here, or the agriculture here. So this is the another agro-ecological zone based on aridity. So we have that other. So on the basis of aridity, Pakistan divided into 5 agro-ecological zones, which have been given in the desert, arid, semi-arid, dry, sub-dry, and the moist humid regions of Pakistan. So it was all about the agro-ecological zones of Pakistan, where we try to differentiate or classify different parts of Pakistan based on their agriculture, crops, and the ecological characters. So I hope you understood, you found it very interesting. So if you like my videos, lecture videos, please subscribe, have a comments on it, and please also share with your friends. So till then, Khuda Hafiz, we will meet again with another lectures on similar topic, agriculture of Pakistan. So in that lecture, I'll discuss the limitations, or you can say the issues or challenges with the agriculture of Pakistan. So take care of yourself.